6:15 in Douala. Thanks and welcome to the news with me, Kejan Henry Atimbi. We begin with our headlines. In large numbers to protest against what they call a parody of justice in the murder case of Dian Yango. The women who are drawn from all walks of life as well as the civil society have petitioned the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family in relentless attack. And the first attorney filed a habeas corpus with the Mfundi Court of First Instance for the unlawful detention of their clients following the disappearance of the corpse of an 86-year-old woman. Top stories. Once more, thanks and welcome to the 6:15. You can check on us on our different social media platforms. For consultation, we begin from the northern and Adamawa regions of the country where hostage takers are now sowing fears across some towns and border towns of those regions, with Bele and Tuburu communities facing relentless attacks. Armed men, often masked and guided by local community accomplices, have been wreaking havoc, targeting, of course, the most vulnerable and, of course, leaving trails of in their wake. Details with Ambo Gladistipa.
Hostage takers are operating with increasing boldness in Belel and Tuburu in the Vina and Mayore subdivision, respectively, in the northern parts of Cameroon. Their proximity to neighboring countries where their bases are located makes these areas especially vulnerable. Local sources say fear has driven residents to flee, abandoning their homes and livelihoods in a desperate search for safety.
Every day people are kidnapped. Every day millions are paid in ransoms. The poor are forced to sell their land and property just to meet the demands of these criminals.
No one is spared. Armed groups now strike in broad daylight, extorting civilians and looting homes. In a recent Tuburu raid, 5 marksmen abducted residents and looted homes between midnight and 1 a.m. One victim who resisted was shot through his door and is now recovering at the Bonabberry hospital with shattered legs.
The hoodlums ordered the man to open his door, but he refused, telling them he knew who they were. He and his wife began shouting for help, but this did not stop the attackers from firing bullets through the door, striking the man.
Even tea vendors face extortion. The attackers, believed to have come from a neighboring country, left a warning: farmers must pay agricultural taxes before their return or face consequences.
We cannot and the Central African Republic.
Despite military efforts, cross-border hideouts and low community cooperation hamper security operations. Fear continues to grow across these vulnerable communities.
Thanks very much, Ambo Gladys Stephen, reporting there. And the ruling in the Dian Yango murder case has actually triggered widespread outreach, prompting women's rights groups as well as civil society organizations to take drastic action. An online petition demanding the resignation of the presiding judge has actually gained momentum, which actually reflects the public dissatisfaction in the handling of the murder case. Details with Sheriff Saleh.
Following the judicial decision in the Dian Yango case, activists and civil society organizations have mobilized to call for accountability. The online petition, which has gathered thousands of signatures, seeks to pressure the judiciary into reconsidering its stance on cases of femicide. There is a parallel between form and procedure. The judge was appointed by decree of the President of the Republic, so she can only be dismissed by a decree from the President of the Republic. And as you know, there is a Supreme Council of the Judiciary where all judges who have committed serious offences in the exercise of their duties are judged. Campaigners contend that the ruling weakens the fight against gender-based violence and establishes a troubling standard Despite the growing momentum of the petition, legal analysts caution that such efforts rarely result in direct consequences for judges.
A
judge cannot be sanctioned solely because of public outcry or any online petition. Judicial independence is a fundamental principle, meaning judges cannot be removed or disciplined simply due to public dissatisfaction with their rulings. Any action against a judge must follow formal legal procedures, such as an official review by the judiciary or a misconduct investigation. However, activists remain hopeful that public pressure will lead to a broader review of the case and push authorities to take stronger action against femicide. Many have vowed to continue their fight, insisting that justice for Dian Yango must not be denied.
And the case of Dian Yango continues to stir strong reactions from women's rights organizations and defenders, as well as civil society groups, as they have expressed indignation over the ruling. Now they are arguing that the verdict will actually promote the proliferation of feminicide. Morindy.
Women's rights defenders and civil society groups are in outrage over the sentence handed down in the Dian Yango's case. They believe that the punishment is disproportionate to the crime, and such leniency could contribute to the rise in cases of feminicide.
The impact of this decision is that it can open doors for more cases of gender-based violence in Cameroon, because this one should have served as a means to discourage other perpetrators, but instead is opening the doors for more cases to come.
They are now advocating for review of the sentence, urging the justice system to impose a more appropriate punishment.
Give free hands to the magistrate to do their work in total impartiality. I think it's important to punish the current perpetrators, to give a strong message for those who are thinking to do the same, and also accelerate the implementation of already existing laws.
Alongside this call for justice, there is a strong push for public awareness. Civil society groups are emphasizing the need to raise consciousness and educate the population about the severity of gender-based violence.
This situation has potential risk on the social cohesion in the communities at large, and especially coming from a woman who is supposed to be supportive of the woman's cause and the other women's effort to combat gender-based violence. And I think as civil society actors, we are going to reinforce our actions in the community to educate, to sensitize, and to advocate for more awareness on the need to protect women's rights and to take action at different levels for gender-based violence to stop in our country.
Following the verdict, Dian Yango's family has decided to appeal. Women's rights defenders and civil society organizations have expressed support for the family's decision, hoping this will lead to fairer outcome.
And gendarme's officer in Bonabberry, Douala, have seized 300 kilograms of marijuana and arrested 4 suspects or suspected traffickers. In fact, they were arrested following a tip-off from those around the area. Details with Ambo Gladys.
A significant blow has been dealt to illegal drug trade in Bonabberry, Douala 4 subdivision, where security forces have seized 300 kilograms of Indian hemp. The operation was carried out by elements of the Mabanda Gendarmerie following intelligence received from an anonymous source. The suspects were apprehended during a raid at Carrefour Music, a known transit point for contraband goods. Gendarmes say the 4 suspects were in possession of the illicit consignment and were allegedly preparing to dispatch it to another location within Douala.
During our inquiries, we learned that the mother-in-law of one of the suspects, Soro Stephanie, cultivates and processes the Indian hemp in Kumbo, Northwest region. The drugs are then transported via a truck belonging to one of the nephews and offloaded at Carrefour Music before being channeled to Terminus BBR.
While investigations continue, law enforcement officers say they have widened their probe to include others believed to be connected to the trafficking network. One such individual, Nikina Minato, was arrested after allegedly attempting to bribe officers with 900,000 francs CFA in exchange for the suspect's release. She now faces charges of attempted corruption. Authorities believe the ring is coordinated by two individuals identified as Siko Soro and Siso, said to own the trucks used for transport. Security forces are intensifying efforts to locate and arrest them.
Investigations are ongoing and we are determined to dismantle the entire network. We urge the public to work with us by reporting suspicious activities. Together we can fight and defeat drug trafficking.
The four suspects are currently in detention, awaiting further legal proceedings as the crackdown on drug trafficking intensifies in the littoral region.
Thanks very much. Ambo Gladys Tiber. Now in politics, the mayor of the Njombe Penja Council, Olivier Bonabberry, who has resigned as a member of the patriotic movement of a new Cameroon party, that is PMCN, or the MPCN, that is the party of famous late mayor. And of course, alongside some 25 councillors of that council, that is made up of 34 councillors. Now, Morindi takes a look on how this is going to impact on the council's management.
The news spreads on social media with confirmation following shortly after. Mayor Charlie Olivier Priso has officially resigned from the mouvement patriotique pour un Cameroun nouveau. The reasons for his departure are said to be both distant and rooted in internal, endogenous and exogenous factors.
After the commemoration of the 4th anniversary of my illustrious mentor, Paul Erikinge, my story with the MPC.
At the mouvement patriotique pour un Cameroun nouveau, the full impacts of this resignation is already being felt.
When a leader resigns, we should understand that he will take away a considerable number of supporters and with the risk of emptying the substance of the party.
Since the death of Paul Erikinge, the MPCN has experienced a leadership crisis with several key factors abandoning the party. The departure of this senior member raises further questions about the future of the party.
If he goes to another political chapel, will he have the same support from people who used to support Erikinge? Will they not see it as a betrayal? After the mayor of Bonabberry left, he is leaving too. The party is buried.
Although Mayor Priso has not disclosed his new political destination, he has emphasized that his focus will remain on defending the youth.
We are going towards a project that will talk to us, that will protect the youth as much as possible.
Having joined the MPCN in June 2017, Olivier Priso quickly rose through the ranks, becoming a municipal councillor in 2020 and then mayor of Njombe Penja in 2023.
And this time we talk some finance, as financial experts have been addressing the challenges of the financial markets of the CEMAC sub-region. They met recently, and of course in a certification program that will actually help those in the financial market grapple with the nitty-gritties of the situation. Once more, Morindi.
With the ever-growing challenge of understanding the financial markets and corporate finance, particularly with practical tools specific to Central Africa's financial regulations, a gathering of finance experts on April 2, 2025 in Douala, Cameroon, has been described as timely.
CAMEC is called the Capital Market Executive Certificate, which is a certification program that we are launching from April 12 this year. CAMEC is going to bring into our market like very specific information, very specific knowledge about financial markets, how to value a portfolio, how to to rearrange, reallocate a portfolio, how to understand macroeconomic topics within our environment, like when the government takes a decision with regards to, interest rates, for example, lately, so that we better understand what are the implications of those interest rates that were raised, for example.
The CAMEC certification represents a unique opportunity for finance professionals to enhance their expertise and stay ahead in the fast-changing financial environment.
Macroeconomics, fintech and innovation, we'll be talking about regulation, we'll be talking about taxes.
Participants also noted that the program provides a critical opportunity to network, collaborate, and build a stronger, more connected financial community in the region.
So right now, new technologies such as blockchain, artificial intelligence are redefining the lines around financial products. How do we structure a financial product in the light of emerging technologies?
As the financial sector continues to grow, events like the CAMEC certification are paving the way for greater innovation and development in financial markets. The CAMEC certification will be officially launched on April 12, 2025, with a variety of courses that will span over 6 months.
As she tells us that the markets or the households that depend solely on staple foods are finding it very difficult as they struggle against the rising cost of these basic staple foods. Things like bananas that used to cost very cheap and was not even the food or considered as food for the poor is now regarded as food for very rich. Scintillati.
It's a bright afternoon at the Dakar market in Douala, the economic capital of Cameroon. Stalls and heaps of diverse foodstuffs fill the market as many buyers stream in and out. However, a notable change is evident as the days of humble meals are fading, leaving households with nostalgia. While food crops are readily available, the financial effort needed to acquire them has doubled. With 1,000 francs, I used to cook bananas, but today, with the same 1,000 francs, it's only enough for an evening meal. To make lunch and dinner, you need at least 2,000 francs for bananas alone. In our days, with 500 francs, you could prepare a good meal. You could shop with 1,000 francs, and that was sufficient. But today, it's not the case. You need about 5,000 francs to prepare the same meal. Once considered humble meals, staples like produced banana, gari, and jollof rice have become elitist. According to housewives, affording this food is like squeezing water from a rock. Only the rich can afford bananas today. Everything is now expensive. Rice costs 200 to 250 francs per cup. How do we cope? With a budget of 2,000 to 3,000 francs and 6 children at home, how do we manage? Vendors have also observed changes over the years, noting a significant increase in demand for ingredients for these meals.
Across
the market, housewives agree that anyone who successfully navigates the economic hardship in Cameroon is considered wealthy. The story of these women is just a tip of the iceberg of the difficult economic situation millions of Cameroonians are going through.
Thanks very much. Scintillati brings us to the end of this edition of the 650 News with me, Kejang Henry Atembe. And of course, wishing you a wonderful weekend ahead. Matthew Fangwa is just right around the corner with the brief, the actuality, of course, with his panelists. And they are going to focus on sports. From all of us, it's goodbye.